Hey guys, welcome back. So what we're looking at today is some practice with solving equations, because up until now you guys have had some issues with that and haven't been quite grasping how to take and do it. I've seen a lot of issues. So we're going to have a little extra practice with this. So on this page, we are looking at solving. We've got both one and two-step equations mixed in here. So you will be doing both kinds on this page. So we're going to do a couple together just to give you some practice. So the ones we're going to look at are, let's see, these three here. So for the first one, we have x divided by 5 equals 6. Now, to undo division, because that's what you need to think about when we're taking and solving these things. How do I undo what's happening here? So to undo the division that's happening between the x and the 5, we're going to multiply. So we're going to multiply. Now, what we do to one side, we have to do to the other side. That's the key thing with solving equations. What you do to one side must happen to the other side. Otherwise, it's not a true equation anymore. So these cancel. So now we're left with just the x equals 6 times 5 is 30. So for number 4, x equals 30. Now, for number 5, this is a multi-step problem. There's a lot going on in this. So we have 3x plus 7 equals x minus 15. Now, some of you wonder what you're supposed to do when there's just the x there. So anytime you see just an x by itself, just put a 1 in front of it so then you know it's got a coefficient because that helps. So I'm going to start by subtracting this 1x from both sides, because when we have a variable on both sides, we want to take and get the variable to one side, the constants to the other. So I'm subtracting the 1x. Now, technically with this problem, there are 4 different ways to start it. So we could have started by subtracting 3x. We could have started by subtracting 7. We could have started by adding 15. Any of those would have been a perfectly acceptable way to start this. I started with my variables because I like getting them over to one side first, then dealing with my constants after. So we subtract the 1x because the original 1x is positive. So we undid the positiveness. Now, some of you probably would have added this because you saw the minus 15 afterwards. No, that's not the case. It's whatever the sign is on the actual number, that's what you're trying to undo. So 3x minus 1x is 2x plus 7 equals negative 15. Now, we're going to subtract 7. So we need to get our constants to the same side. So we subtract the 7 because in the original it's positive. So it's positive right here. To undo that, we need to do the negative. So we need to subtract. So now we have 2x equals, now negative 15 minus 7 is going to be negative 22. So now we have 2x equals negative 22. The last thing we have to do is undo this multiplication here. So to undo multiplication, we divide. So now we have x equals negative 22 divided by 2 is negative 11. So x equals negative 11. And you can always go back and double check these. So that's one way to test to see, okay, do I have the right answer? And see if you're doing your math properly or if you've done something wrong. That's the easiest way to double check these things. Because I will tell you, if you get the wrong answer and you plug it back into the equation, guess what? It's not going to work out to give you a true statement afterwards. So keep that in mind. All right, and the last one here that I'm going to do with you guys. We have x divided by 3 plus 7 equals 11. So x divided by 3 plus 7 equals 11. So start with the subtracting of the 7. So we have x over 3 equals 11 minus 7 is 4. Now, we're dividing by 3. So how do we undo division? Multiplication. So we multiply both sides by 3. So x equals 4 times 3 is 12. Now, like I said, you can go back and double check this. So let's plug this in. 12 over 3 plus 7 equals 11. 12 divided by 3 is 4 plus 7 equals 11. 4 plus 7 is 11. So 11 equals 11, which is true. So we did it right. Now, in cases I know I've seen sometimes people just take and add the 7, then they try dividing by the 3. And so if you would have done that, then it would have altered it. So you don't want to take and have that at all. You want to take and do the operations properly. Also, if you would have tried to multiply by 3 first, it would have thrown the whole thing off, okay? So keep that in mind. All right, the second part of this assignment, we have just simple one-step equations. So all of these are one-step equations. The first side has multi-step equations. So looking at this first row, we have x plus 2 equals 6. How do we move the 2 to the other side? To undo addition, we use subtraction. So we have x equals 4. For B, we have x minus 2 equals 6. How do we undo subtraction? Addition. So we add the 2. So x equals 8. Next, we have multiplication. So x times 2 equals 6. How do we undo multiplication? Division. So 6 divided by 2 equals 3. And lastly, we have x divided by 2 equals 6. How do we undo division? With multiplication. So x equals 12. So this is really going to practice with you on taking and understanding these relationships and the opposites. So knowing what we do to one side, we have to do the other, and we do the opposite operation to solve. So undoing the problem. So your keyword for this lesson is equality. Equality, because we need to keep the equations equal. We have to use the properties of equality when we're solving these. It can't just be about guessing and checking. It doesn't work. The more complicated equations we get into, you're not going to be wanting to sit there and figure out, okay, what number can I put into this that's going to make it work out? We don't want that. You need to be able to solve using the properties of equality. So knowing that you can subtract from both sides, it keeps the equation the same, adding, dividing, and multiplying. But you have to do the opposite operation, okay? All right, so equality is your keyword for this lesson. Have a great day.